I would never hold anything from my children.
Okay, now accept being wrong because I can accept it from my son.
Why didn't you tell him, Miss Smith?
I ain't tell him because I cheated with my previous kid's father.
She called me like around 5-something. But I'm trying to test her and see how loyal she is,
You
right?
don't have to test nobody
So
that you're
look,
in a
I'm trying
relationship
to see
with.
how loyal she is. 3 in the morning, knock on the door.
But I don't owe you nothing.
You owe me everything.
I don't owe you nothing. It's never too late for a mother to love her child. It is never too late.
Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
She come to the window, guy walk right out. Wasn't nothing open up in there that night but leg. Feel me? And she
One of
said
those
she
legs
ain't did
open up
nothing.
that night.
And she said she ain't.
So here it comes, the big bombshell. Miss Moore spills the beans right before her son steps in. She confesses to a decades-old fling with not one, but 2 guys and never told her son about it. The court's already done a paternity test, and those results are ready to drop today. You'll want to stick around because the drama is just heating up.
To present his case against you, you haven't seen your son since a lifelong secret became exposed just 2 months ago. Now, Ms. Moore, what was the secret that you kept for almost 3 decades?
29 years ago, I had an affair between 2 guys, and I didn't tell my son.
Just when you think it's a regular day in court, Mr. Weeks throws a curveball. He starts to spill the tea on why he thinks the man who raised him might not be his bio dad. Ever since he was a little tyke, whispers in the family hinted at something fishy. His mom always brushed it off, shutting down the convo with a firm, "Maurice is your dad." End of story. But wait, there's more to this story. Keep watching.
It started around like I was 9 years old. I kept hearing rumors from outside family members that Maurice might not be my father or I might not be his son.
Your Honor, he never asked me. Had my son asked me, I would have told him.
I told her, you know, I came to her and asked her. She always told me, Maurice is your father.
And then, the plot thickens. Miss Moore is on the defensive, tackling accusations that she never faced questions about the paternity thing. She claims she'd have told the truth if only her son had asked straight up. But she also didn't want Granny throwing a fit, so she kept it zipped. Things are about to get even juicier, so don't go anywhere.
He never asked me. Quite honestly, if my son had asked me, I would have told him, but I would have also told him not to say anything because I didn't want my mother to know. My mother has rejected my daughter. Yes, I didn't want another child rejected. I grew up stern with those beliefs that a child out of wedlock was not going to be accepted by her.
Oh boy, here's where it gets awkward. A random family reunion at the corner store uncovers the secret. When trying to connect a family member with his dad over the phone, the relative acts clueless, triggering Mr. Weeks to confront his mom for the real scoop. This revelation was like dropping a hot potato. Now watch as it gets even hotter.
I went to the corner store, you know, just give me some. I see another family member of mine. He asked me how my father was. I told him he's doing fine. You want to talk to him? He said yes. So I went in my pocket, brought my phone out, called him right there on the spot. As soon as he got on the phone, he said, "Oh, my bad. I got the wrong number." He gave me back the phone. No, we had a little awkward moment, like.
Basically, he was implying Maurice wasn't your father.
Right.
Now, Miss Moore takes the stage to lay out her emotional roller coaster of a life story. She talks about the tough choices she had to make to keep her family together with Maurice, who stepped up as the dad figure despite the secrets. She's laying it all out there, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. It's a doozy.
A couple of months ago, he broke out. He came into town. I didn't even know my son was coming into town. He came out with it. I told him. I didn't know. Had he asked me at 9, if he had said anything at 18 when he graduated, yes, I still would have told him, but I would have still said, don't tell your grandmother.
Get ready for some serious feels. Miss Moore dives deep into her soul, sharing how heavy this secret has weighed on her all these years. She paints a picture of a time when family shame was a big no-no, and keeping this kind of secret was her way of shielding her kids from grandma's harsh judgments. The emotional floodgates are open, and there's more coming down the river.
When I was living with 2 other children, plus Earl, with a man who accepted my children, who Earl know for a fact, had a baby from 6 months old to 5 years old. Earl was on the road with this man. He bonded with this man. He loved this man. Jackie, I will be there for your children through everything. That I wasn't going to jeopardize my other children just for one.
Here comes a truth bomb that shakes everything up. Miss Moore finally admits to doubting Mr. Weeks' paternity as he grew up looking less and less like Maurice. This confession is a gut punch to everyone involved, and she regrets the pain it caused. Hang on, because the next part of this saga is a real tearjerker.
In a very short time frame, like maybe 24 to 48 hours, And then it became more doubtful as Earl started growing, and I noticed the difference.
So this has been a painful secret for you to just hold in.
My whole life I had doubts, yes, because I noticed things with Earl that wasn't a part of Maurice, didn't resemble Maurice. I lived it with him.
Just when you think it's all been said, Mr. Weeks lays his heart on the line. He expresses how crushed he is by the ongoing deception and how it's messed with his head and home life. The feels are real, folks. And guess what? There's an even bigger reveal just around the corner.
Mr. Weeks, did you grow up loving Maurice?
I grew up crazy about this man. Like, I had to be in his pocket just to make sure he don't leave me.
That's true.
It hurt that I had to come, both of them, I had to come to them about it.
I can imagine that it's not hurting you, but also your relationship, and for that I would love to have you stand, ma'am.
Tempers flare and things get heated. As Miss Moore clashes with Mr. Weeks' fiancé, who calls her out for keeping such a massive secret, the judge has to step in to cool everyone down. It's like a soap opera in here, and the next scene is guaranteed to be just as spicy.
I would never hold anything from my children. You was wrong for that.
Okay, and now accept being wrong because I can accept it from my son. But I don't owe you nothing.
You owe me everything.
I don't owe you nothing. I didn't sleep with you. I didn't make no babies with you. It's never too late for a mother to love her child. It is never too late.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here comes the grand finale.
Weeks, the man who has raised you for the past 29 years is not your biological father. Help her.
No, don't change your mind.
Judge Lake addresses Ms. Hauser's claim that her ex-husband, Mr. Campbell, walked out on her and their son Michael over 3 decades ago. Ms. Hauser asserts that Michael has faced significant medical challenges since childhood, which prompts her request for a DNA test to confirm paternity and possibly understand Michael's health issues.
Ms. Hauser, you claim your ex-husband unexpectedly walked out on you when your son, Michael Campbell, was 5 months old. You say your son has had medical problems since he was a child, and you have petitioned the court for a DNA test in order to hopefully find a solution for a life-debilitating condition.
Mr. Campbell counters Ms. Hauser's claims by expressing his long-held belief that he is not the father of her son, Michael. He anticipates that the DNA test results will vindicate him by proving he is not related, thus clearing his name from associated responsibilities and claims.
Mr. Campbell, you say you never believed the plaintiff's son belonged to you, and today's result will prove your case and clear your name.
The court delves into the background of Ms. Hauser and Mr. Campbell's relationship, which began in high school. Despite knowing Ms. Hauser was pregnant, Mr. Campbell agreed to an elopement influenced by familial pressures and their young love, even though he harbored doubts about being the biological father.
Mr. Campbell and I met when I was a junior and he was a senior in high school. What ended up happening was mid to late July, early August, I became pregnant. We discussed it, figured out to get married. We eloped because Mr. Campbell's father hated me.
Really?
Absolutely could not abide me.
A pivotal moment arises when Mr. Campbell reveals that he never believed he was Michael's father, leading Judge Lake to question the rationale behind signing the birth certificate and his subsequent actions, including an attempt to seek custody post-divorce.
You did not?
No, I never believed for 1 second it was.
If Mr. Campbell was not Michael's father, why did he sign the birth certificate? Why, when we got divorced and his family tried to get custody of Michael?
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, ma'am. I was in basic training in the Army when Michael was born.
Did anybody bring a copy of this birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Mr. Campbell admits he knew from the start of their marriage that Michael was not his child, raising questions about his motives for marrying Ms. Hauser and the authenticity of their relationship, given the complexities surrounding Michael's conception and birth.
You're saying you knew soon as when you married her that this wasn't your child. So why marry a woman pregnant with another man's child and you don't believe there's any possibility that it's yours?
She was my first love, and we were kids, and I thought, we would make the perfect high school romance, live together forever, ignorance is youth kind of thing.
Ms. Hauser recounts the deterioration of their marriage after moving to South Carolina, detailing how financial and custodial struggles emerged shortly after Michael's birth, culminating in Mr. Campbell's abrupt departure and their eventual divorce.
Mr. Campbell in South Carolina while he was enlisted. And then when Michael was 4 months old, I moved into a mobile home court, a boyfriend and a girlfriend and one of their friends, and Michael and I. It was a 3-bedroom. There was nothing going on between any of us. It was just cheaper to live that way.
The moment of truth arrives.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Campbell, you are not the father.
Oh my.
Mr. Jones starts off the courtroom drama by throwing down the gauntlet, challenging the paternity of Ms. Milan's 3-month-old munchkin, Quinnell Jr. He's been playing daddy to her +6, and now he's got a $1,500 bill for her for rooming. Ms. Milan's in a tight spot, admitting she might have played the field a bit too freely.
You and your mother are co-plaintiffs who have brought the defendant, Ms. Milan, to court to prove her 3-month-old son, Quinnell Jr., is not your biological child. You claim you took Ms. Milan and her other 6 kids into your home, and now she's trying to take you for a ride by claiming this baby is yours.
Ms. Milan is standing her ground, insisting Mr. Jones is the real daddy, despite the mess and stress. He's up against Mr. Jones's mom, too, who's not buying what Ms. Milan is selling for 1 minute. The court's heating up with all these fiery exchanges, and no one's backing down.
Ms. Milan, though you do admit to cheating on Mr. Jones with another man, you say you're unsure if you were already pregnant when you cheated. You say you're here today to prove to Mr. Jones and his meddling mother, once and for all, that Mr. Jones is without a doubt the biological father of baby Quinnell Jr.
As the plot thickens, Ms. Milan spills the beans about their bedroom blunders and Mr. Jones's supposed infertility. Yeah, he was told as a teen he couldn't father kids. Both are tossing out accusations like hot potatoes, with trust in short supply, drama on the rise. Court's in session, and everyone's leaning in to hear the dirt.
Of having unprotected sex would be that you would become pregnant.
He always said he couldn't have children. The doctor told him.
Why'd you say you couldn't have children, Mr. Jones?
Because I used to play sports in school, have a full body physical, and they told me that I wasn't able to have kids.
So during a physical, they told you you would be unable to have children?
Yes, ma'am.
The tension's palpable as Ms. Milan lays out the timeline of her pregnancy, pointing fingers at both Mr. Jones and her ex. Timing is everything, and hers is as tight as a late-night talk show monologue. With everyone on edge, the room's buzzing about who the real daddy could be.
You found out she was pregnant. Even though she said it could be yours or it could be my ex's, did you step up?
I wanted to make sure if it's a possibility of being my child, I want to be able to go back and tell these stories and say I was there doing this. When he was being born, I'm right there holding her hand, watching everything.
I was at the hospital, like I told my son, just be there until we find out otherwise, because I raised him without a father.
Here comes the moment of truth, and boy, it's a bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jones, you are not the father.
So here's a twist no one saw coming. Ms. Tucker drops a bombshell, revealing the earth-shattering news that the defendant, Mr. Hunter, might actually be her biological dad after all. This shocker came out of nowhere a decade ago, and her mom spilled the beans, even though she'd grown up believing another guy was her pops. Let's see how Mr. Hunter takes this curveball.
Miss Tucker, you believed another man was your dad until a bomb was dropped on you 10 years ago when your mother admitted that the defendant is your biological father. You opened your case to prove to Mr. Hunter that he is your dad.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Hunter isn't buying it yet. He's got a truckload of doubts about being Ms. Tucker's old man, thanks to some past drama where Ms. Tucker's mom said he wasn't the father. His standoffish vibes and skepticism about the whole dad deal just add more spice to the drama stew. You won't want to miss what's up next.
Mr. Hunter, you admit you have distanced yourself from the plaintiff because you have serious doubts you are her father. Miss Tucker, you admit you initially lied to your daughter, but claim you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he is her father.
Talk about a paternity rodeo. Ms. Tucker lays out her struggle to pin down Mr. Hunter for a DNA test, which he's dodged not once, but twice, like a pro. All this runaround has left her with a major identity crisis and a bucket load of stress. Buckle up because her mom's about to throw in her 2 cents.
Few years, I have been trying to get Charles to do a DNA test with me. I scheduled a test, he didn't show up, and it's just a lot of confusion in my own mind and very traumatic to me. I'm trying to figure out if he's my father or not to close this chapter in my life because I grew up thinking someone else was my father.
Here comes the plot twist. Mom, aka Ms. Tucker, fesses up to fibbing about the daddy details to shield her daughter from what she thought was Mr. Hunter's bad influence. This mommy confession session opens up a can of worms about the tangled web of family ties they're all caught up in. Get ready, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
I wanted to find out who her father really is also. Well, I had doubts because her mother told me that I wasn't 30 years ago, so.
Miss Tucker, you hear your daughter speak? You say you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he was her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. I told her that someone else was her father at the time in order to protect her. I felt like Mr. Hunter was not a good role model.
You're not gonna believe this. Imagine finding out over a phone call that the guy you thought was your dad isn't. That's the kind of soap opera twist Ms. Tucker faced in 5th grade, shaking up her world and giving her a serious case of the Who's My Daddy blues. Stick around because the plot thickens even more.
I was in the 5th grade and his sister had came and got me one weekend like she always did. They were on the phone and I was over listening to their conversation with her telling him that, and it was my first time ever talking to him. I was really excited, but I wanted to know, you know, where was he? Why was he not around? And that's when he told me that my mom was not being honest with me.
Just when you thought it couldn't get weirder. As a teen, Ms. Tucker bumps into a lady who drops another dad bomb, suggesting Mr. Hunter could be her real father. But plot twist, Mom waves it off as gossip, thickening the plot and the family mystery. The tea is piping hot, and Mr. Hunter's about to give his side of the story.
I was in the 7th grade. Where we're from is very small, so I was at a store. There's a woman who knows them both. Told me, she said, you look just like your dad. So I go, oh, you know my dad? And I said his name, and she goes, that's not your dad. So I went home, and I did tell my mom what she said, but my mom just said she was lying, so she didn't know what she was talking about.
Crank up the drama dial. Mr. Hunter rewinds the tape to his younger days when he and Ms. Tucker's mom were an item, and she told him the baby wasn't his. This led him to peace out for over a decade, leaving room for rumors, half-truths to fill the void. Fasten your seatbelts. His school visit confession is a real jaw-dropper.
She told me she was pregnant. She said the baby wasn't mine. I left and I got my life together. And I stayed gone for 15, 16 years. I came back to North Carolina hearing rumors that she was mine. So what am I supposed to do when someone tells me I'm not the father? I move on with my life.
But even though he's saying he went off what my mom said, I was in middle school and the young woman that is like his daughter.
Did he just say that? In a surprise school visit, Mr. Hunter claims he's Ms. Tucker's dad, flipping the script and stirring up a whole new level of family drama. This bombshell leads to heated discussions about who's responsible for the truth in their tangled tale. The DNA results are just around the corner, and they're gonna be a doozy.
So, Mr. Hunter, did you show up at the school and tell Miss Tucker I'm your father?
That was a long time ago. I vaguely remember that conversation when she was at that school.
You don't pull a child out of school
father.
and then tell him a joke that I think I'm your father. So that's not gonna fly with me. Come with some new testimony that makes sense.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
So, we're kicking things off with a bang. Ms. Smith marches into court, ready to prove to her fiancé, Mr. Hopkins, that he is indeed the daddy of their adorable 2-year-old munchkin, Kamya. She's all in, betting everything that the DNA test will call him Papa. Buckle up, it's about to get wild.
Miss Smith, you've petitioned the court today to prove to your fiancé that he is the biological father of your beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Kamaya. Mr. Hopkins, you don't believe that you are Kamaya's biological father and say today's negative result would end all wedding plans.
Yes, Your Honor.
And boom, Mr. Hopkins drops a truth bomb. He's not buying the daddy title so easily because, get this, Ms. Smith has tossed out "you're not the father" a few times during their spats. Yep, it's like something straight out of a daytime TV drama with less hair pulling. Just wait till you hear what's next.
I got doubt for my own reasons. For one, she told me herself a couple of times, numerous of times, that in an argument that Kamaya wasn't mine. And
just to make you mad, it wasn't to...
That ain't how you do
You
it.
said that, Miss Smith? You said Kamaya's not your child?
Your Honor, I done threw birthday parties for Kamaya. A second birthday party I threw for her. I provided.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Things get spicy. As Ms. Smith admits she's been playing the "you are not the dad" card just to get under Mr. Hopkins' skin during their arguments. It's her go-to move in the argument playbook, apparently. But oh, the plot thickens. Mr. Hopkins has a receipt for every diaper he's ever bought. Let's see how this financial drama unfolds.
What does it profit you
just
to tell a man that you truly believe is your child's father during an argument that he's not?
It was to make him mad, because I know that really bothers him, because he
and now he's countersuing you for $2,500 because now that he feels doubtful as to whether the child is his, he wants the money back that he's given to help support her.
Oh, snap. Mrs. Smith confesses to a little side hustle with her ex around the time little Kamya was conceived. The audience gasps, the judge raises an eyebrow, and suddenly, it's not just a paternity test we need. It's a full-blown soap opera script. Don't touch that dial. Drama level is about to skyrocket.
Why didn't you tell him, Miss Smith?
I ain't tell him because I cheated with my previous kid's father. Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, bam, evidence time. Posts from Mrs. Smith's ex are making the rounds, claiming he's the real daddy. Mr. Hopkins's face must have been a picture. This courtroom has turned into a circus, and the clowns are just getting started.
Oh, this is a post from her ex saying
that
the wifey and our new baby Kamaya. You testify that you have no doubt that Mr. Hopkins is Kamaya's father.
I do feel he's her
Your
father.
Honor.
She looked like him, like they eyes, they nose.
Your ex been excluded by a previous DNA test?
No.
Time for the main event, the verbal smackdown. Both sides are throwing everything but the kitchen sink across the courtroom. It's a he said, she said showdown that could rival any reality TV show finale. And guess what? The next part is the cherry on top of this courtroom sundae.
She just a he in, ha and holding hands with him. I was like, girl, stop the madness. Did you or did you not have on a red and white top with some red and white pants? But that wasn't you.
Before. No, look. Wait a minute.
She
that
well,
one. So all that is a lie.
And not only lend credibility to her testimony that she knew it was you if she knew you had that outfit.
She a lie.
Tell the truth.
No,
were you
no, I was
there?
not at no Applebee's.
Okay.
The tension could be cut with a knife. DNA results time. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, waiting to see if Mr. Hopkins is the father or just a guest star in this family drama. The envelope, please. And prepare yourself, because this revelation is a doozy.
You got something to say, man? Seem like you do. Keep on you holding us up. I want to know.
I don't want to lose my family, but she ain't yours.
What I tell you?
So what I took for all this for you to tell me this?
I don't think she yours. I don't know, man. I don't want to lose you.
Do you want the truth or do you not?
I would like the truth.
The moment of truth arrives with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
Mr. Hopkins, you are not Kamaya's father.
Guess what's popping off today? Judge Lake kicks off the show with the case of Commons versus Baker, where Ms. Commons is dragging Mr. Baker to court to nail down paternity for her daughter, Reza. Ms. Commons is totally over it, saying Mr. Baker was all daddy mode at first, but now he's acting all brand new because he thinks she cheated.
Ms. Commons, you claim the defendant has been denying your 2-year-old daughter Breeze and refuses to do anything for her. You are furious and testify that you are certain he is the father and plan to prove that today.
Here's where the tea starts spilling. Mr. Baker drops the bomb that he started doubting he's Breeze's dad after a previous courtroom drama on Couples Court showed Ms. Commons might have played him. The audience is eating it up, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
Mr. Baker, you claim you were a loving father for the first 1.5 years of Breeze's life until 5 months ago when you appeared in Couples Court and learned Ms. Commons cheated. You say Ms. Commons is a liar, but the DNA does not lie and will prove that you are not Breeze's biological father.
Things are heating up now. Ms. Commons spills about how Mr. Baker's new attitude is messing with their toddler, Brez. She says Brez is all about hugs and cuddles, and Mr. Baker's cold shoulder is breaking hearts left and right.
He know how my baby is affectionate. My baby got a skin fetish. She like to rub on people. So that hurt my feelings when he be like, go to your mama, and she be like, and she want you. She knows
and that makes you emotional when
exactly. It makes me emotional because the way she loves us, like the way she rubs his face. They got this little nose thing that they do. He be like, give me your nose, and she just be so happy. She be smiling and everything. She loves her dad.
Boy, oh boy, check this out. Mr. Baker is seriously bugged by Ms. Commons' sketchy past, claiming all her secret texts and mystery calls got him wondering if little Breeze is even his. This bit is chock full of suspicion and side-eye.
First of all, I got doubts because everything that come out of her mouth a lie. All the stuff she did in the past, just cheating with multiple people. Cheating with multiple people. I could catch her like, if her phone bings, she hide it.
If my phone bings, you just want it. It could be, if my phone bing, it could be Jesus Christ. He gonna think it's I'm sleeping with.
Oh my gosh.
It's an exclusive.
All right.
Y'all won't believe this plot twist. In a wild move, Mr. Baker pretends he's out for the night to see if Ms. Commons would invite another dude over. And surprise, surprise, he catches her with another guy. Talk about a loyalty test gone wrong. Strap in, because there's more drama ahead.
On 2 different days, though. It was a weekend, right? Basically, I'm gonna say this. One weekend, right, Friday, I'm going out, I go hang with the homies or whatever. She called me like around 5 something. But I'm trying to test her and see how loyal she is,
You
right?
don't have to test nobody that you're in a relationship
I'm trying to see how loyal she is. 3 in the morning, knock on the door, she come to the window, guy walk right out. Wasn't nothing open up in there that night but legs. Feel me? She say she ain't did nothing.
That night.
Just when you think it can't get any crazier, Mr. Baker's sister steps up and throws even more shade on Ms. Commons, saying she's seen her running around with different dudes. It's like a soap opera with these two, honestly.
Me and Mary been friends, best friends, for 10 years. We used to run the streets together, which means like we was double dating, kicking it, going back to the clubs and stuff. And to fast forward up after that,
we get down together together. If that's the case, why you ain't been tell your brother, like, don't get down with her, we got down together?
I did tell my brother, but he was 19 up at telling him about you.
No,
and I felt like that you was just older and you taking advantage of him.
Now, the moment of truth, everyone's on the edge of their seat as Judge Lake reads out the paternity test results, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Baker, you are the father.